So in the first video that I did in this patchwork series, I showed you how to prepare fabric for paper piecing and how to fold it over. So we have these little diamond shapes, and each piece has a smaller piece of paper inside which has been stitched in so that we can get an even hem all around it. I then took my various colors that I had, because I had this whole box of different colors, and I grouped the colors into similar patterns or shades so that I could actually then make up these stars. Because although I could do quite a lot of different things with these diamond quilts or these diamond pieces, this one I wanted to do with stars. So my next thing from here was to start to assemble my stars, and I did that simply by taking my little diamonds, putting the points to the center, and on the reverse side just gently stitching. I do find it easier to stitch from the middle always outwards with each of them rather than from the outside in, because if there is a slight difference in the length of the fabric here, if you haven't folded something over neatly, you can put and adjust it on the outside rather than trying to adjust it on the inside. So then I had a whole collection of all these different colors, and I've got a whole lot more than this. And I started off by just getting a few colors together. So I took what I would take as a solid color, semi-solid, and a lighter one, and stitched them together. And I've used some white fabric in between. I know in my quilting group one of the ladies said, "Oh, you never use white in the background," but I just felt that the white would be something that would make all these little stars pop. So having chosen some of the colorways I'm wanting to work with, I've started to stitch these together. So let me just push these out the way a little bit. And this is the beginning, and certainly not the end, and you will see the end of me starting to put these stars together. So they will have between each star these little white blocks, and I find you've got two ways to actually start to assemble this. Either you could take a sheet or a piece of polystyrene and put it up against a wall and pin each block on, and have complete control over how your design goes, if you wanted it to be symmetrical or you wanted to use colors in a certain way. Or you could do what I'm doing here, is to just start, because that's where I am at. I don't have time to spend putting it up on the wall, and I actually don't have the space to do that. So I've started off by just doing some of these, filling in these little gaps as I go along, and then I know my next color is going to be that, because I've used a safety pin just to secure them onto the end, so I can see that I'm going from purples to blues and to greens, and the color will migrate into other colors. I will try, but I'm not sure that it's going to work out that way, I will try not to use the same piece of pattern fabric in the quilt. So the quilt that I'm making now is just going to be like a little knee quilt. It's not going to be a full-size bed quilt. And I think I'm just going to try and use one of each of these particular fabric designs in the quilt as I go. I've been doing all my stitching on the reverse side of the fabric, and ultimately we will pull the paper out and we will put some batting on the back with a backing fabric and quilt that together, or the other alternative would be to use some polar fleece and just tie it in different spots. But let's see how we go. And so that's as far as I've got for now, and then I will show you the progress once I'm near the end and explain to you what I'm doing there. Bye for now.